On May 23, 1993, wax, or the discovery of television among the bees, entered the internet, projected by a cable into a wall. Inside that internet, there are no movies there. And so wax, waiting until the last frame enters the wall, then begins the first movie on the internet, to continue forever, for that is how the first movie on the internet begins, at the first frame after the last frame. A true story, and this is that movie, and in reverse. And so, we begin.
As you are aware, the internet is a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens, how the handle of the coffee cup becomes the hole in the center of the DVD. How the interior of the coffee cup disappears into the surface of a flat disc as I spin. I am the first movie on the internet. I am inside a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens. How the movie appears between two frames, between the front and the back of the DVD disc. I am the first frame after the last frame. I am the movie in the DVD on the coffee cup. I am wax, or the discovery of television among the bees. I am 999 years, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 48 seconds long. And then it was dark, until dawn.
With a little bit of thought, I can change my shape and have that body the bees promised me in the cave. With a little bit of thought, I can change my shape and have that body the bees promised me in the cave. With a little bit of thought, I can change my shape and have that body the bees promised me in the cave. With a little bit of thought, I can change my shape and have that body the bees promised me in the cave.
Replacing the four-headed staring X is a differently shaped member of the same genus, made of pair-clumped view cones, arranged like old binary counters from some sort of core memory, which now forgets easily and hasn't had name or address for a while. A dancing 4DX shape pushed down into limited 3 space. In the distant future, memory will be the only body. A square functional grid of 4D memory expands and contracts as the revolution continues. Televised. This shape has a substructure of living pixels, or whatever are the base elements of positive space in the dark void. They talk in Pig Latin, backwards, using words we don't know. Suddenly we are staring at one of the ape sculptures that stand at the back at the cave. It shines its blank smooth face front or face back at us, while bees, comb, and other proto-bodies cluster out of focus behind it. Lit by light borrowed from all the bulbs that didn't go out when they should have, when their fridge doors shut, in houses all over the world.
We are Siamese twins at the beginning of the world. We are Siamese twins at the beginning of the world. We are Siamese twins at the beginning of the world. Siamese twins at the beginning of the world.
A flat X made of swizzle sticks connected at the center by a sphere, with each barbecue point holding a small human head that faces out at us, rather than in the direction of revolution. Each little brain is enamored of us, wants out talk, our breath, our stories of the blue sky.
My family is here. We're all attached. That's me, Jacob Maker, and next to me is me, Zoltan Abbasid. We're on top. Family is here. We're all attached. That's me, Jacob Maker, and next to me is me, Zoltan Abbasid. We're on top. Family is here. We're all attached. That's me, Jacob Maker, and next to me is me, Zoltan Abbasid. We're on top. Family is here. We're all attached. That's me, Jacob Maker, and next to me is me, Zoltan Abbasid. We're on top.
The neck back of a swizzle stick head has only thin creases. We can see here. One rotates by. After a moment, the clumsy, large-nosed face slowly turns towards us. It wants to check the ticket we bought before we got on this train. Friendly faces you haven't seen before, and it isn't your fault that they can't see you. They've only got one thing in mind, and that's nothing. Over and over again, a good full thought that keeps them sane day after day here at the crossroads of happy hell. Spindles winding clear coil out of the dark, which wraps around and around in a never-expanding mass, as they turn and turn, hauling something out of the dark, a giant fish, or a box attached to a hook. All the while, the faces at the ends of the bobbins smile and chatter, happy you've come into the machine to spend just a little time with them.
On the bottom are the two Iraqis we murdered in the tank. On the bottom are the two Iraqis we murdered in the tank. On the bottom are the two Iraqis we murdered in the tank. On the bottom are the two Iraqis we murdered in the tank.
A head pair anchored in bottom left. Probably it is a fish lure, and we are looking at it upside down, as a sick fish, ready to bite, might. 3:7 and 21:2. One face from the upside-down pair, twins of the other twins, waits for night, so that it can close its eyes.
There are brothers now. Brothers now. There are brothers now. There are brothers now.
From here, we can see the guillotine marks, very sharp edge to that blade, but the expressive faces still want to talk. They chime the hours in a confused fashion. It is difficult to see what time it is. 6 p.m. 8:10. Seems like one is the hour head, and the other the minute head.
We can live anywhere on this planet that we want to, but there's no place like home. We can live anywhere on this planet that we want to, but there's no place like home. We can live anywhere on this planet that we want to, but there's no place like home. We can live anywhere on this planet that we want to, but there's no place like home.
A beveled platform carrying a satellite view of the Earth slides in from the left. The box tilts and locks in place straight along our line of sight. Facet lines are visible on the surface of the Earth picture, and a slit opens in center as the entire surface approaches us, inviting us down for barbecue, probably preceded by a shave and a skinning.
Going back to the Garden of Eden. Or actually, where we went to live after we left the Garden of Eden. Going back to the Garden of Eden. Or actually, where we went to live after we left the Garden of Eden. Going back to the Garden of Eden. Or actually, where we went to live after we left the Garden of Eden. Going back to the Garden of Eden. Or actually, where we went to live after we left the Garden of Eden.
We enter the rectangular Earth-like swimming pool, moving down through the powers of 10 detail of the picture sky towards our choice of a home, deep in the blue electric water that covers this Atlantis, inside the war box, between the skins of the BTV. We travel down to a sacrificial rectangle that tilts as we approach to offer surfaces of Niagara Earth, and the unified in motion colors of the after world. Dropping like a hammer to the floor, we are met by ascending mirrored wobulator talk, your new home inside the radio. Dropping towards heaven, as diamonds grow up from Cain's heart, located just below the bottom of the screen. When you step right up to the giant screen of the projected underworld, you can see additional detailing as scan lines, wobulating with a definite, finite boundaries, and little emotion in their swings. Rips of a corset that holds this world together. No time now, Cain says. We won't have to listen to him anymore after this.
It's a beautiful day in Alamogordo. It's a beautiful day in Alamogordo. It's a beautiful day in Alamogordo. It's a beautiful day in Alamogordo.
We enter the mirror world through the words of a void poem, sprung from the earth here in the spring of the newly fertile Alamogordo. First hints of corn against the gray sky cinema.
I really enjoy my job. I'm a woman now. I really enjoy my job. I'm a woman now. I really enjoy my job. I'm a woman now. I really enjoy my job. I'm a woman now.
Out of the center frame mirror that Jacob first disappeared into at the launch site, we see Allele and Zillah Lamech appear, almost the two wives of Lamech, that great-great-great-grandson of Cain who pronounced fractionating vengeance and eternal interest on the principal by upping the return price for a blow from 7 to 77. Kill me once, that's how many times you get killed, by his formula, thus making sure there would always be enough people to settle New Deseret. capital city on every planet of the future dead. Allele, who is part Ella, walks off frame in the opposite direction from Zilla. There's a face in this cornfield, which resembles the spirit seen at the edges of the AR my bunker where Jacob once was perhaps abducted for a life of labor among the UFOs. With a shudder, we pull back from this face. Our proximity has triggered some sort of alarm here, so that's the safer thing to do. The research twins emerge from Mirror Center, heading off on related paths through the cornfields. They'll meet again soon.
Actually, several women. Our names are Allele and Zilla Lamek. Actually, several women. Our names are Allele and Zilla Lamek. Actually, several women. Our names are Allele and Zilla Lamek. Actually, several women. Our names are Allele and Zilla Lamek.
Close UPS of the two women, looking down and then up, now in the middle of field observation work. This is a job that requires a certain type of ethical concentration. Wandering attention is inappropriate for all forms of scientific work, and in an overdetermined and mirrored world like this, it can have very definite negative effect on future formation.
We're genetic researchers, specializing in the study of the shifting kernel patterns that can be recorded across generations of mutating corn. We're genetic researchers, specializing in the study of the shifting kernel patterns that can be recorded across generations of mutating corn. We're genetic researchers, specializing in the study of the shifting kernel patterns that can be recorded across generations of mutating corn. We're genetic researchers, specializing in the study of the shifting kernel patterns that can be recorded across generations of mutating corn.
The identical pair makes different notes on the same clipboard, collecting data that will free all the trapped souls and decipher a few body patterns frozen on dappled corn surfaces. The research twins again emerge from frame center, heading towards opposite yet very near patches of identical corn which vegetally hopes to be seen and counted. The two are walking head-to-head down parallel roads in a crystal land where gravity is just a pretty thing, used locally by intelligent matter in any way it sees fit. ANC have stopped again to jot a few more notes, while they wait for the millennium after next. The twins, forward joined, share living thoughts. These fragmented notions have a life of their own. The right-angled pair separates forwards and turns to leave in separated directions. They will be together again soon.
My research is paid for by my dead grandfather, James Hivemaker, who moved here from Kansas in the 40s with his half-sister Ella Spurallen. My research is paid for by my dead grandfather, James Hivemaker, who moved here from Kansas in the 40s with his half-sister Ella Spurallen. My research is paid for by my dead grandfather, James Hivemaker, who moved here from Kansas in the 40s with his half-sister Ella Spurallen. My research is paid for by my dead grandfather, James Hivemaker, who moved here from Kansas in the 40s with his half-sister Ella Spurallen.
Placing pens in left or right pockets, the philosophical women walk down the harvest path, heading back to the lab. Their brothers are there, in helmets, slaving away, turning numbers into letters, letters into corn, corn into music, and music into coins that can be used to buy the electricity that keeps this word in action. Lows hots of threatening corn plants, wobbling against Mirrorland's gray sky. Spaceships use gray clouds to hide us, so they don't have to see us as they fly here to there on their daily deliveries and jobs. The living plants move back and separate, to let the blank and swarming sky into our eyes.
He'd made a fortune in beekeeping, which he let Ella invest in a flight simulation company. He'd made a fortune in beekeeping, which he let Ella invest in a flight simulation company. He'd made a fortune in beekeeping, which he let Ella invest in a flight simulation company. He'd made a fortune in beekeeping, which he let Ella invest in a flight simulation company.
Ears of Indian corn have been waiting for us off-screen. The future fair has started, and it is time for us to see the miracle products of this rich land. The fixed surface of this visual corn holds clues to migrating vengeance, or at least to the temporary locations of otherwise lost souls. These are fossils from the language of Cain. Shyly, the odd-shaped twin-turreted corn ears try to hide their shape off-screen. The ears stacked vertically, with no head, hair, or hearing in between. The night has 1,000 eyes, all blind here on the blinking surface of the sign corn. The marble-colored ears separate, reminding us of the Aggie eyes of both Cain and Abel, the concrete twins born at the Garden of Eden, showing darkness between.
The Tower of Babel, right here in Alamogordo. The Tower of Babel, right here in Alamogordo. The Tower of Babel, right here in Alamogordo. The Tower of Babel, right here in Alamogordo.
The entire Tower of Babel, with no intimation that there will be a bad end to it all. No sign of destiny interrupted. Here in the days after the millennium and before whatever will happen. From far away, almost in the back of the theater, we can see the Tower of Babel on a patch of screenland, in a place where there are more stars than the heavens themselves are able to show. Every individual dead soul has its own movie here in the land of the dead.
That's where my brothers work. That's where my brothers work. That's where my brothers work. That's where my brothers work.
We're right outside the Frisch Flight Simulation Building, perhaps now known as the Hive Maker Building, whose twin pillars are apparently carved straight from the twin towers of Babel. Out of the edged darkness, for this is a dark-framed picture, twin besetted brothers appear, almost twin Jacobs, though we can't see their faces to confirm this, and also we figured out a while ago that Allele and Zillah are the real Jacob replacements here, so these guys must be fakes. So who are these guys, if she's telling the truth and that's what they are? As the suited thugs approach Mirror Center, more alternates appear, another pair running, hands extended in welcome wagon friendliness, as if meeting the happy owner of organs that they'll need donated for the operation coming up week after next. When their hands grasp, The X shape is finally and suitably united and ready for work here in the land of the future dead. They can't stop the handshake, which must last for 1,000 years. Anyway, in a place like this, every greeting might be your last.
Right now, their specific assignment at the Tower of Babel is one of Aunt Ella's inventions. A two-way television that lets them talk to the dead. Right now, their specific assignment at the Tower of Babel is one of Aunt Ella's inventions. A two-way television that lets them talk to the dead. Right now, their specific assignment at the Tower of Babel is one of Aunt Ella's inventions. A two-way television that lets them talk to the dead. Right now, their specific assignment at the Tower of Babel is one of Aunt Ella's inventions. A two-way television that lets them talk to the dead.
For a moment, we see pyramids, of kind seen on dollar bills and bronze medallions, hanging upside down, until this faceted structure, a type of BTV with missing pieces, begins to move past our frozen eye. We leap through a pseudo-gateway right to the toothed interior, heading directly for an eye on one of the many pyramids, all of which might be portals to anything. Squeamishly, however, we skip this particular entrance to fly tentatively over pyramids that change their gravity orientation at every tiling increment. We pass 5 that seem to be pointed inwards to chew on a parabolic-sided pentagon, and then we begin to move up again, through the light, down the gullet, towards the darkness, realizing in the middle that this entire structure thing has flipped orientation while spinning around us, and so is in the right position to flick its tongue and crush our breath. At that thought, a jagged eye point pushes up from bottom screen, bringing with it a sudden sharp eye, which, when clicked into proper place, makes itself transparent to allow through the glimmering light of too many bees standing on just one single BTV facet.
On the television, the dead people have promised that for the next 1,000 years, we get to live in peace on this new world. On the television, the dead people have promised that for the next 1,000 years, we get to live in peace on this new world. On the television, the dead people have promised that for the next 1,000 years, we get to live in peace on this new world. On the television, the dead people have promised that for the next 1,000 years, we get to live in peace on this new world.
The B device rotates until it has become a 5-pointed star facing us, with 5 bees trading honey with a small dark star far away in the center. We find ourselves alone with an X made of living pixels. Get close to any pixel, and you'll see a blur, the outer atmosphere of a thought ocean. Put on your flippers and heat shield. Jump in. Down, 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 shrinking and falling through the endless air-water void, deeper into that thought, until suddenly you splash. Pull back to see that the X shape was part of undated stone, placed at the bottom of a triangular pile of bricks which narrows as it approaches a cloud-covered dual peak, where the eyes of a stereo god watch all that is, and all that was, all at once.
I love my brothers, and I believe that. That's the power of love. my brothers, and I believe that. That's the power of love. My brothers, and I believe that. That's the power of love. My brothers, and I believe that. That's the power of love.
An ostrich eagle carries the spears it uses in war, as well as those it has grabbed out of the hands of its foes, each in alternating claw hands, with what appear to be opposing thumbs. The bird is blind, like the queen bee once dissected in Basra. Above its head, in a bicycle chain of stars, can be seen the 5 significant states or pentagon of consciousness that guides the disbursement of love in this world among the stars. E pluribus, or out of many, is repeated forwards and backwards. The elevator doors are closing again. Trails of quantum souls and other ethical types can be seen on the surface. It doesn't make any difference at this point whether you are inside or outside. The view is just the same. There is no inside or outside, just as there probably isn't escape from one to the other. Birds are chirping. Here we are, after the end of all, waiting patiently for Waxweb to begin, kept company by our lonely planet of choice, which rotates nearby. The planet, with and without a name at once, is well embedded in some scanning hexagon, and probably within receiving distance of something, perhaps even a TV, though it might even be a transmitter, which is the moral thing to do. To be here. The dark. The name.